Good morning, Year 9. I hope you are all well, and your history teacher has already welcomed you to the lesson and has already taken the register. This PowerPoint I will be going through. We've made the decision not to do the Versailles stuff because that would just be a bit too complicated to carry on with. But we are still focusing on the interwar period between World War I and World War II. So from the end of World War I in 1918 all the way up to the outbreak of World War II in 1939. And to do that, there are some concepts, some ideas that we need to look at first, and they are the ideas of democracies and dictatorships. So the first thing I would like you to do is to tell your history teacher, where is this? Where in the world is it? It's a massive statue, you can tell that. You will probably know its name. You need to be specific on where it is. But the key thing I would like you to target, and the key thing I would like you to push for, please, is this one. What do you think is the message of this monument? What is this monument trying to say? Obviously, it can't speak, so it can't physically say it itself. But why did the people of the country where this is put it up where they did? What is it trying to say? What message is it trying to say about the country that it's in? So hopefully you've given your history teacher some really good ideas. And obviously, stating the obvious, it is the Statue of Liberty. It's found in New York, in the Hudson River, on its own little island. It was actually given to America by the French. It's the female representation of the goddess of liberty, the Roman goddess of liberty. And liberté in French actually means freedom. And in her hand, she holds a torch, a burning torch to guide the way, a beacon of light to guide the way. And on the other hand, a tablet. Now, she's not hiding an iPad or holding an iPad. She's not holding a paracetamol. She's holding an ancient stone tablet. And that represents the laws of America. Now, America is a country that has their laws, the way their country is governed, written down, and that is called a constitution. And a broken chain lies at her feet. Across her feet is a broken chain. And it's therefore a symbol of democracy and freedom from around the world. America wanted to present itself. Once they had won their independence from Britain, America wanted to show themselves as a new world, a new country where everyone is going to live in freedom and in democracy. And it is this idea today, this idea of democracy, that you need to learn and understand. So it's clearly stated on your learning intention, what I have just told you, the concepts, the ideas of a democracy and a dictatorship. Because our big question hasn't changed. It is still this. Why was Adolf Hitler elected as leader of Germany in 1933? He didn't come to power through winning a war. He didn't come to power by winning a battle. He didn't pay for it. He didn't kill anyone as such for it. But he was elected. He was democratically elected into Germany and then changed it into a dictatorship. So you need to understand what these ideas actually mean. And you can read these for yourselves. I don't need to read them to you. This is your success criteria. This is what I need you to be able to do by the end of the lesson. If you only achieve the able amber, not quite enough. You should all be pushing for green, if not pushing for purple. So tell your history teacher now, because you are on a live lesson. You do have the ability to talk to each other, share some ideas. What is a democracy? What is a dictatorship? What is a constitution? What do you already know about those? Okay, so these here are the definitions. These are what the words actually mean. So have a look. Democracy, dictatorship, constitution. It says that a set of rules, they can be written down, they aren't always. Britain, for example, Great Britain, the country we live in, does not have a written constitution. America does. That means when you hear people talking about the Fifth Amendment or the right of an American to bear arms, so not to wear t-shirts, but to carry guns, that is all set out in a constitution. And for this next unit of work, these are the three key words that we are going to have to return to: a democracy, That's what we live in. You are all given the right to vote at the age of 18. A dictatorship is a system of government where the leader has absolute and total control. And there are still dictatorships around the world to this day. And the Constitution. So spend a couple of minutes now just talking to your history teacher to make sure you understand what those words mean. So to link into what we've been doing then, why have you been bothering to do all that work on World War I if now we're going to look at politics, differences between democracies and dictatorships, etc.? Well, have a quick read of this. You're all able to read, so I'm not reading it to you. That's why. World War I, supposedly the world that ended all wars. It didn't, because we now know World War II comes afterwards. They didn't know that in 1918 and in 1919, but the impact that this war had, this great war had on the political systems in countries across Europe was massive. And it's things that are still existing to this day. So now you will need this map. You will see it is a map of Europe. That is why I have already put the USA off the map, because as you know through your geography lessons, the USA is not in Europe. But you need this map now open, and you should be able to insert text boxes onto the documents on Google Drive. Because you now need to use this information. This information is all muddled up. The first thing you need to do is identify which country on the map is which. Use your geography skills. If you need to get a map out, it's a little disappointing, but your history teacher is also there to ask you to ask questions too. So if you do get stuck, just ask, but you should be able to identify which country is Russia. The USA is already done for you. Which country is France? Which country is Italy? Which country is Germany? And which one is Britain? And then it gives you some information about these countries. Again, this information is all mixed up. So you need to work out which country is this one. Which country lost the war? Between 1918 and 33, it was a democracy, became a dictatorship after Hitler and his Nazis were democratically elected to power. So you need to, first of all, identify the country, and then you need to copy in a text box which country is a democracy, which one is a dictatorship, which one is both. And we are focusing, like I said, on the interwar period, the period between the end of World War I in 1918 and the start of World War II in 1939. There is one country that is a democracy and a dictatorship in that time. There is a country that is already a dictatorship before 1918. It's up to you to now sort them out. And if you want to check with your history teacher that you've got them right before you type them in, you can do, either via private message, but don't give the answers to the rest of the class as well. So finally, you will need this document here. You can color code either by changing the color of the cell, because you have this document on your Google Classrooms, or you can just highlight in different colors. But a democracy. If a democracy is a country that has certain sets of freedoms, if a democracy is a country where people have the right to choose, they have almost freedom of speech, they have the right to select who they work with, what they do, etc. Which of these here show a democracy, the features of a democracy? Now, some of them do read very, very similar, so you have to make sure you are clear, because the other is a dictatorship. Where are freedoms taken away? Where are freedoms restricted? You might want to ask your history teacher right now what a trade union is. Okay, what is a trade union? Understand the concept of a trade union, what they represent, who they work for, etc. And then color code the sheet. And the last thing you need to do on the bottom of one of your sheets, and I don't mind which one, imagine you visited a dictatorship. Write a tweet, no more than 140 characters, that includes spaces, describing what you've seen, what you've heard, what's the country actually like, okay? So imagine you visited a dictatorship, write a tweet, and be willing to share it with your history teacher. So that's the lesson itself actually done. Don't forget, any worksheets will need to be handed in and submitted via the hand-in folder for this lesson, just so your history teacher can keep an eye on what you're doing and your progress, etc. This video will be available, so if you haven't managed to get the work done in the last 40 minutes of this lesson, you will have time to get it done. So if you have any other problems, let your history teacher know now, but I look forward to seeing you again soon.